Welcome to Bite-Sized Data Science. Open source did not take off because of data science, but the data science community is taking advantage of it. For me, open source started with Richard Stallman, GNU, and the Free Software Foundation. At the time, we'd get all sorts of utilities including the Emacs text editor and the C and C++ compilers. The original goal was to create a free version of Unix. The next big step was the Linux operating system started by Linus Torvalds when he was a student. When he started asking for help on writing an operating system, it started what became a very successful community. Remember that Linux first release was in September 1991. Another big step in open source was the promotion of the LAMP stack for web applications. It used to stand for Linux, Apache HTTP server, MySQL, and PHP. Since then, it has evolved where other products can take over for some of the LAMP components. The Apache Foundation was established in 1999. It provided a place to nurture open source projects. On the data science side, we can say that it started with a big data push and the Hadoop software and the plethora of its related products. Hadoop MapReduce was hard to use, so the Spark software was created to make it easier to use and more efficient. The idea had merit and it grew from there. At one point of the open source craze, countries would declare that they were dropping, let's say, Microsoft Office and going with open source solutions like OpenOffice. Startup would create an open source project with a bare-bone version of their commercial product and promote their product as being open source based. Companies would ask their vendors to provide competitive comparisons with open source projects that were barely in their infancy, still in alpha releases. The consensus seemed to be that open source is best, no matter what. I think at this point we're past peak open source. The hype is mostly gone. Still, there are a lot of open source products and you have to do your due diligence. It's not because you don't pay for it that it is free. If the product does not have a real community support, you can end up starting a development team in your organization to support the product. I would suggest you answer the following questions before committing to an open source software. How long has it been around? Is it at least further than version 1.0? How recent is the subject matter? Are there clear leaders? What are the other open source and commercial products that compete with it? Are there commercial companies offering support for it? How big is the community? Are there conferences about it? Are they well attended? Are there multiple commercial versions of this product? Is it embedded in multiple commercial products? You don't need to answer all those questions, but you need to feel confident that a product will make it before you commit to it. You want to make sure you are getting behind a stable product that has wide support so your company won't be left holding the bag. Another thing about open source is that it would not survive without the support of commercial companies. For example, the Apache Foundation has all sorts of sponsors including Aetna, Bloomberg, Cloudera, Comcast, Facebook, Google, Huawei, IBM, Microsoft, and Target to name a few. So find out who's behind the products you are considering. The good news is that there are a lot of open source products you can rely on, and many of them are included in commercial products if you prefer that approach. Open source is a way to bring innovation to the market faster. We'll look at some of these open source products in other videos. See you next time on Bite-Sized Data Science.